born and brought up in Pune with a professor at home, a strict school. So that's how my upbringing was. Also, very frankly speaking, I was not that well-planned student about my career choices.
As in, you believe in training so much that you actually took a training to be a trainer.
InnerSpace should come for such kind of individuals who are taking a step behind just because of the fear of being judged.
You are in a way also giving back to the community that you've been brought up in, right?
आता मी पण जर एक मराठी विद्यार्थिनी आहे आणि मला जर उद्या कम्युनिकेशनवर कोणतं ट्रेनिंग घ्यायचं आहे, मी आधी विचार करेन की मला मराठीमध्ये माझ्या साताराचा स्लँग येतो, याच्यावर मी इंग्लिशमध्ये कसं बोलणार. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ फियर्स, लर्न कम्युनिकेशन, बी कॉन्फिडेंट, डू दिस, डू दैट, फेस द इंटरव्यू, वो है ही नहीं InnerSpace का विजन.
What makes InnerSpace different from the rest of the crowd that is there?
मला असं वाटतं कोणती पण स्किल जर आपल्याला अंगवळणी आणायची असेल तर ती उपासना, ती बैठक खूप जरुरी आहे.
Start off with asking you about yourself.
So let me give it a try because I find it very difficult to put around words about me. For people who have seen me, known me first time, I am a typical Maharashtrian girl born and brought up in Pune. Though I did my schooling from a convent school, St. Patrick's High School.
So even I am a convent school person, St. Joseph's. I had a very strict English teacher, very, very strict. So if you say a wrong sentence, he would come and he would pinch us,
So those were the days, I think, so Ratish. Students were allowed to, beat up, and teachers were allowed to make those all kind of, strictness compulsory. अब मेरे बेटे को कोई हाथ लगा के दिखाए. So anyways, but coming back to my, my schooling, that school did instill a lot of, discipline and English as well. I will give the credit to that school itself. But what influenced me throughout my life till this date is my parents. I am sure every parents do have a special role in their child upbringing, but for me, my mother was a professor, and when a teacher is already there at home, imagine the kind of upbringing you have. So yes, that was born and brought up in Pune with a professor at home, a strict school. So that's how my upbringing was. To cut it short, I did have a very happy and enticing childhood. So yes, and I love my city, Pune, very much.
So you've been in Pune throughout?
Yes, I have been in Pune since my birth. It's a very beautiful city. I hope, Ratish, I mean, I'm sure you were there here for a couple of years.
Yes. I would agree to that. Pune is a home even now. Even though right now I'm not there, but it's home, and I know what you're talking about. It's a very special city. It has its problems, but it's special. About your college and then your work life.
Yeah, so like every middle class, girl, even I was very skeptical about what should I choose as a career. So सब ने बोला कि science बहुत difficult है, तो हमने BCom ले लिया. Now when you finish up doing BCom, then it's like what next? So hardly 2-3 options थे, तो मैंने MBA IT कर लिया. So very frankly speaking, I was not that well-planned student about my career choices. But then once I finished my MBA, and when I entered the corporate, especially when I was given a chance to work with Infosys, that's where I realized that it's a time to take yourself seriously. And then I started to think about myself, that what qualities do I have, what is that makes me different from others, etc., etc. And then after working with corporates for more than a decade, you can say, I decided to get into what is very near and dear to my heart, that's training. And that's when I did my international certification from Scotland, and I also did my train the trainer certification, and since then I am running my own venture, InnerSpace Consulting.
When you decided to move into training and decided to start something of your own, you decided to take a step out of the corporate life and then prepare yourself, take the necessary certifications, necessary training, as in you believe in training so much that you actually took a training to be a trainer, right? And then you started, did you start like immediately, or what is the journey, and why like InnerSpace?
What made me, come to InnerSpaces or make sure that I'm going to have this venture is, I realized people from vernacular backgrounds, especially being a Maharashtrian,
Mhm.
born and brought up in a middle class, typical middle class family, and जिथे सगळ्या गोष्टींना एक कंडिशनिंग असते आधीपासून. So that made me think about that inner space should come for such kind of individuals who are taking a step behind just because of the fear of being judged. मी साताऱ्याचा आहे, बोलताना माझ्या भाषेमध्ये साताऱ्याचं स्लँग तर नाही येते ना, आणि इंग्लिश तर मला येत नाहीये, मग मी कसा इंटरव्ह्यू देणार? सो ऑल दीज क्वेश्चन्स आय सॉ पीपल अराउंड, अँड सो दॅट्स वेअर InnerSpace idea was inserted.
That's very interesting because when you're outside of Maharashtra, all you know is Pune and Bombay. There are so many other places, and it's full of people and full of students. It's the workforce that is there ready for the next job. And as you beautifully put it, who's going to talk about them, and where is a training institute that empathizes with this particular set? You are in a way also giving back to the community that you've been brought up in, right?
We speak about actually where the base of the pyramid which needs an hand holding. People are skeptical because आता मी पण जर एक मराठी विद्यार्थिनी आहे आणि मला जर उद्या कम्युनिकेशनवर कोणतं ट्रेनिंग घ्यायचं आहे, मी आधी विचार करेन की ऑलरेडी तिथे हाय टॉप नॉच लोक आलेले असतील, तिथे मी माझा प्रश्न कसा विचारू की मला मराठीमध्ये माझ्या साताराचा स्लँग येतो, याच्यावर मी इंग्लिशमध्ये कसं बोलणार? सो दीज काइंड ऑफ फिअर्स अँड यू डू नॉट अड्रेस देम. InnerSpace is more than willing to address them, and this is a warm invitation for everyone who feels that we are this kind of individuals.
So what is your take on these quick crash courses that are there in the internet, like learn English in 2 hours, learn this skill in 2 hours?
Do think twice before endorsing or maybe engaging yourself with 2 days, 2 hours workshop for communication. It will not happen because now if you want to look at it, you can look at it in a way that chalo ek information knowledge addition ho gaya mujh mein, skill ka addition nahi ho sakta 2 घंटे के workshop mein. You cannot go there. So Ratish, I'll ask you one question and you give me an answer. Let's now switch the role. Now if I ask you, what is one thing which is very dear to you? Tell me one thing which is dear to you.
Nothing comes close. My 3-year-old daughter, she's all about. In fact, I had to close this door piche because she would be knocking anytime. And she's the dearest to me right now.
And if I ask you, Ratish, tell me one topic which you don't know anything or much about it. You're not very passionate about it.
Astrology.
Now, can you speak on astrology for, let's say, 3 to 4 lines?
I don't know where the conversation has gone.
What I'm trying to make out of this is, the moment I asked you about Ira or a person or a thing which is very dear to you, there were a couple of sentences again, adjacent to it. ऐसे फटाफट आ गया. अब when I'm asking you to speak about astrology, you are doing this and thinking. So that's my point, and that's InnerSpace vision, that learn communication, be confident, do this, do that, face the interview. वो है ही नहीं InnerSpace का विजन. InnerSpace का विजन ही ये है कि make a person speaks very fluently and passionately about the topic he knows. And that's where our technique of teaching or making the learners learn a certain skill is make them speak about what they're passionate. And language is not about speaking any particular language, it's about how you think and feel. So the moment you feel about a topic which is very passionate to you, there is no language barrier, there is no expression barrier, there is no thought process barrier, and this is said by no one in the market as of now. So,
beautiful. Yeah, I don't hear this kind of messaging anywhere. We just spoke about it briefly, that there are so many institutes providing English speaking course, this course, skill development sessions, etc. And you clearly talked about the difference InnerSpace is, the space that InnerSpace is in, if you may. What makes you guys different? Is there anything else that makes InnerSpace different from the rest of the crowd that is there?
So, Ratish, मराठीमध्ये ना एक आमचं अपब्रिंगिंग असं झालं की गाणं आलं पाहिजे. म्हणजे मी स्वतः खूप पॅशनेट आहे गाण्याबद्दल. मी प्रोफेशनली शिकले नाही, पण मी ऐकलं आहे खूप गाणाऱ्यांचं की एक बैठक असते. दे गेट अप इन द अर्ली मॉर्निंग एट 4-5 अँड दे ते बसतात, बैठक करतात, 4-5 तासाचं प्रॅक्टिस करतात आणि मग जाऊन कुठे ओव्हर द period of time they get where they are. महेश काळे फॉर एक्झाम्पल, इफ यू कॅन से, इज अ बिग सिंगर, मराठी सिंगर. मला असं वाटतं कोणती पण स्किल जर आपल्याला अंगवळणी आणायची असेल तर ती उपासना, ती बैठक खूप जरुरी आहे. when you ask me that what inner space is making different, so पहिली तर आमचं विजन आहे इन्कल्शन. सो InnerSpaceचं पहिलं विजन आहे इन्कल्शन. म्हणून आम्ही काय करतोय, वी आर ट्रेनिंग कॉर्पोरेट बट ॲज वेल ॲज वी आर ऑल्सो इनकल्केटिंग and imbibing the training needs to the lower level of the pyramid where there is a fear of being judged. One. Second, आमचं विजन आहे की या तुम्ही आणि 1 महिन्याचा कोर्स करा आणि जा. नाही, मी कधी कधी मजेत सगळ्यांना म्हणते की यू डोंट पे मी फॉर कोचिंग, but I will charge you for the post-coaching support because imagine Ratish, आपण जेव्हा एखादी वर्नॅक्युलर लँग्वेज, आय एम शुअर मी जेव्हा मराठी शिकले मला कोणी सांगितलं नव्हतं वेलांटी अशी हवी बोलताना, उकार तसा हवा, आपण ऐकून शिकलो. बट डू यू रिमेंबर युअर मदर कॉन्स्टंटली टेलिंग यू नाही 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 नाही, गेली नाही, गेला म्हणायचं. सो दॅट कॉन्स्टंट सपोर्ट वॉज देअर अँड नाव वी आर एबल टू स्पीक इट सो फ्लुएंटली. सिमिलरली InnerSpaceचं एक्स फॅक्टर जर तुम्ही विचाराल तर कोचिंग तर आम्ही देणारच. आफ्टर कोचिंग जो सपोर्ट आहे विच यू नीड वेन यू गो इन टू कॉर्पोरेट्स, यू हॅव अ इंटरव्ह्यू टुमॉरो, यू कॅन एनी टाइम कम बॅक टू अस and we are there to coach you. The best part of InnerSpace is we are not into coaching a batch of more than 10 people. I repeat it again because I believe in one-on-one coaching. One size cannot fit all.
Yes, yeah.
I believe every individual is different and the training needs to be addressed in the same way. So if Ratish and Shalaka are going for a communication training to InnerSpace, I cannot give the same handout and training to Ratish and Shalaka. I have to understand them both differently as a person. And then I will make them, do whatever is needed individually. So that's where, I'm very proud that InnerSpace is working in that zone.
This is very important, this personal attention. People say personal attention and then you go to their class, it's 20-25 people. And for them, the idea of personal attention is कि एक बार आके पूछ लेंगे कि सब ठीक है, समझ में आया. And what happens in peer pressure?
I can relate.
Yeah, ho. You just say ho and you just
करू आम्ही.
समजलं. You just keep nodding, our typical Indian nod, So yeah, and at 10 there's no escape. When you have only 10 in the room, there is no escape, and that pushes you to do more. So that's beautiful. So one I wanted to check was, with the whole job market being the way it is today, the need for skill development becomes that much more important because you're competing with at least 20 people out there for a particular job. In fact, if not more, who have the same skill, who have the same education, same everything.
I may sound a little biased because I earn money from doing this, but believe me, communication is the highest paid, skill in today's world. And I will back up this point with a simple anecdote maybe, or I'll ask you, if you see the market around, Ratish, nowadays, don't you think that, building a product and serving it to people efficiently is no more, no longer enough. It's the way you treat people. Post that is what makes you different from the market. And it's not only about the companies. Again, as an individual also, what value do you add to all the conversations you have in your life is what people remember you for that. So coming back to your question, I don't think so that any skill will ever be as important as communication skill. And when I say communication, I repeat myself again, it's not about speaking in a certain language fluently, but it's it has to start from somewhere. And first step towards this is your self image. आपल्याला जे लहानपणापासून कंडिशनिंग झालेलं असतं, पाहुणे आले की मांडी घालून बसायचं नाही, 2 मोठे लोक बोलत असतील तर मध्ये बोलायचं नाही. See, that comes in your personality. After 30 years, I realized that I still wait for my chance to speak, where it's not the right kind of communication trick. You have to put your point forward. but in a very assertive and a graceful way. So that's where communication is. And market मध्ये मला माहिती नाही का पण लोकांनी इंग्लिश स्पीकिंगलाच कम्युनिकेशन स्किल नाव दिलंय. It's
Yeah,
only a part of communication
it's only a
skill.
part of
Yeah.
communication.
Shalaka, interesting, very, very interesting points you made about the job, the skills, etc. So, just wanted to know, what are the skills and what are the different training programs that are part of your curriculum in InnerSpace?
So to answer this question, Radesh, I'll start with what I've been doing since last 4 to 5 years. So I've been training in corporates, and we very happily and passionately draft such training programs for organizations which want specially crafted and customized training sessions for them. So if they find there is a shift in their employment, or they find that employees in the organization needs coaching, and people like us can help them, we get into that and we train on topics like public speaking, confidence building, team building for that matter, time management, and so on and so forth. When I come to NGOs where I've worked with one where there are first generation learners, they're the first one from their family to actually study something and do a job. So I've trained them as well for a couple of years, 1.5 years. So for them we have a different kind of syllabus. And when I come to students who are willing to get into the corporates, maybe, or any kind of job, be it finance, insurance, marketing, IT, computer, whatever, we have a different crafted programs for them, which definitely help them in making them confident, building and self-image, self-awareness programs are there. There are programs like interview skills as well, communication and interpersonal skills. So all these are all very technical words for what we do. But if you ask me in a layman language, we just build brands out of individuals.
Wow.
So if you want to portray yourself in the market with an X factor in you, we are more than happy to help you to discover that X factor in you.
Okay. You spoke about all the different curriculums that you have for students, like preparing them for corporates and interviews, etc. So all those things, if I'm, let's say, from I only speak a particular language like Marathi or Hindi, I can enroll and I can be rest assured that I would be getting the right training and I would be understanding it, and it will not be like those trainings where I'm like just wasting money because I don't understand half of it. So that part is something that I feel personally that makes you kind of different from others. Our viewers and people who are listening to this will understand very clearly from this short interview is InnerSpace Consulting is a lot more than just a bunch of training curriculums, modules, etc. put together to make some money. There's a strong community vibe. There's a strong giving back and making a difference to the society element inside it. In fact, and that's what the personality of InnerSpace is, which it makes it very, very different from all the setup that at least I know of in Pune. So it was great talking to you, Shalaka, and I know you personally. I mean, we're friends, but it was a great thing to kind of huddle and understand the space that InnerSpace is in and what you guys are doing, in quite detail. So thank you for taking the time out and letting us all know what InnerSpace stands for. And it's a great thing that you're doing. You are giving back to the community. You are making a difference. So best of luck. And as you were saying, people can reach out to you in all these places: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also to your website. So those are the places where people can reach out to you. So that's great, and I'm sure a lot of people will reach out to you. There is a set of people which are out there which InnerSpace has helped in building, and that community I hope keeps growing. So all the best, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Ratish. I would like to leave the listeners with a thought that always remember one thing, that should will limit you, but could will always empower you.
Beautiful.
So ये मत करना कि मुझे कुछ हासिल करना है, आज इंटरव्यू देना है, इसलिए मैं कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स कर लूँ, मुझे कॉर्पोरेट में एक प्रमोशन चाहिए इसलिए मैं टीम बिल्डिंग का या इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स का कर लूँ. Instead of that, ask yourself that what can I do for the betterment of my personality, because organizations keep changing, you will keep changing the kind of work you are doing, but as a person you will be the same throughout your course of life. So to make that empowerment, come back, listen to yourself, do that self development. And thank you, Ratish. I like the way you always quote InnerSpace as a space for people. So thank you for being such a good intent listener. And thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye bye.